All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to today's vlogs. It is New Year's Eve, which means I have many videos to post up for today, particularly two important games to talk about in my previews for the college football playoff, Michigan State and Alabama, as well as Clemson, Oklahoma. But I'm going to get to those in other blogs for today. But I'm going to start off today's blogs with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between number 18 Houston against number 9 Florida State. This is going to be an excellent game for you guys to watch. I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen in this matchup with quarterback Greg Ward Jr. from Houston. Hopefully he's going to have a good game to lead Houston with a big upset, but we will see. This is going to be a good match. Now for Houston, they did go 12-1 this season with their lone loss against UConn and a surprising upset, while Florida State is 10-2 with losses against Georgia Tech and Clemson. Those were a couple good matches in that Georgia Tech game. That shouldn't have lost that game to the Yellow Jackets, but that's what college football is all about. Anything can happen on any given Saturday. Now for Houston, they have a couple of good players offensively outside of Greg Ward that I like. And Kenneth Farrell, he's one of the leading rushers of the team. He's behind Greg Ward Jr. in running the football. He does average 5.2 yards per carry, and they have a star wide receiver in DeMarcus Ayers who has over 1,100 yards receiving this season. Now in the middle games this year, Ayers was kind of a little bit out of action as far as his productivity, but in the last couple of games he's been doing a good job catching the football from Greg Ward, and he's going to be very key in this matchup. Now for Florida State, they're going to be led by quarterback Sean McGuire, who took over the helm at quarterback over Everett Golson. Everett Golson was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season, and then Coach Jimbo Fisher decided to go with McGuire instead of Golson for the remainder of the year. And they have a stud at running back in Dalvin Cook, who's actually the record breaker for most rushing yards in school history with 1,658 yards on the ground. Now defensively, they do have two players that I like. They actually have a pretty good, decent defense from Florida State. Great speedsters on each level of the field. Starting with the DeMarcus Walker. He's a good pass rusher with 10.5 sacks to go along with 45 tackles. And they have great speed in the secondary led by LaMarcus Brutus, who actually leads the team with 4 interceptions this season. This is a great defense. Now going back to Houston, forgot to mention their defense. They have had a pretty good pass rusher as well. And linebacker Stephen Taylor, he's a senior, 86 tackles and 9 sacks this season. And in the secondary, the player who's going to have to do a lot of work against the receivers from Florida State is Adrian McDonald, who has 84 tackles and 4 NITs this season. He's going to have to keep up with Kermit Whitfield as well as Travis Rudolph, two good receivers from Florida State. Now, the keys for this matchup, I'm going to have to start off with Houston. They're actually going to have to do a good job in not being breaking down against Dalvin Cook and running in the ground attack. In that game against UConn, Arkeel Newsom actually ran for 114 yards on 32 carries. He kind of bruised his way in helping control the ball for UConn, as well as open up plays for Noel Thomas, who actually had a 100-yard game receiving in that matchup. They cannot afford to do the same thing against Dalvin Cook, who is a spectacular athlete and is the key for this matchup for Florida State. Now for Florida State and their losses, I kind of started to study things a little bit. Against Clemson, you have to give Clemson credit. They are the #1 team in the nation that they play against a harsh team. Now for against Georgia Tech, Florida State had a lot of miscues in that matchup, and that is going to be key. They cannot afford to cause any turnovers and give the ball back over to Houston. This is going to be a good matchup for this one, but I'm going to have to go with my man Bruce's team, Florida State. I think this is going to be a good game, but Florida State definitely has the talent and mainly more speed over Houston. So I have to go with the nose over Cougars in this matchup. This is going to be a great Peach Bowl to watch. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be in a couple of minutes. I actually have many more blogs for today. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.